Hello, 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 and welcome to today's live trading, London to New York crossover with the Harmonic Scanner. I hope you are all doing well today. And it's got we've got quite a busy day with red flag news across the euro and the USD, American dollar and Canadian dollar, coming up at in half an hour. So that will affect what we're going to look at. So without further ado, let's get going. Now, if you are on the 7-day free trial, then you will come into our financial freedom group here. So please make the most of looking at the units in here. Lots of good stuff for you to go through, which has all been very well put together, looking at lot sizes, a guide to trading view. You can use the Harmonic Scanner, which is free with the lowest platinum package. Should you join our private university, you can only join through a current member. A lot of us use TradingView to do all the plotting and chart up and analysis, and you can get a free version of that. Obviously, you can put on more things if you upgrade. I think it's about $10 a month as you start to upgrade. And then the simple strategy that we teach, which is be your own bank, and one called 25 to life. The up-to-date live trading schedule, there's 8 hours a day. You don't have to come on them all, but that's because we wanted to put something in to suit every time zone for everyone. And then how to join us in the university. So once you join, you'll come into our Ninja Forex Traders group, which is a well-oiled machine now. And we've been putting this together for over 3 years. In fact, May the 18th will be my third year, starting my third year in the university, as we call it. So it's an absolutely fabulous community. And again, we had an orientation video for new members this morning, put together by Robert Sugden and Bob Fostermore, which is excellent. Find your way around. And then you can come through these units here. What do we mean by a lot size table? That's what keeps you safe with proper risk management, depending on your account when you go live. Obviously, demo, yes, you can do what you like with your demo account. It's like playing Monopoly. But I do recommend that you use it to test strategies and find out how to use lot sizes properly, because your emotions will switch in differently when you start trading on a live account. So that's there for you to practice strategies, and 2 or 3% is what we risk on an account. I tend to do 2% because then I know when I was learning that I'd have to lose potentially 50 trades in a row in order to blow the account when I was going live. So that helped me get that process underway. The live trading schedule here, how long to blow or grow an account, just what I've been talking about, and then the power of compounding. Barley Granville, absolutely excellent. We take a lot of trade ideas from him, one of the top educators, the BYOB strategy, etc., etc. So from here, you'll come over to IM.Center, which is your academy. And down here on the left-hand side, you'll see all the units. I won't go into them now, but again, they are small videos, most of them little 5-minute videos to learn the basics so that you are not thinking, you know, what is a pip? Oh, I can't remember what a lot size is. It's all explained for you in there. Very well put together, and a lot of the longer technical ones, as you get to the 300 and 400 series, are by Christopher Terry, the founder of the company. Pip Talk is where you will find people like Barley Granville. Here are the updates. So I follow. You only need one strategy to be successful. I suggest you don't mix strategies. I follow Chance and Samantha here. So 11 hours ago, Q&A, I was on that. And then you'll see here, as do a lot of the others on this Pip Talk, they'll actually give you the new harmonic scans and how they've marked them up. So I go through those, make sure I've got them all. And then we come down to strategies. Go live on the left is where you find them, all the educators, different channels. They're on channel 20. One of my favourite calls of his is tonight, Thursday, at 7 p.m. UK time, 8 p.m. my time outside Paris. And that's the psychology call, which is absolutely brilliant. He really is good fun and an old soul in a young body. So here are the products that we use, or strategies as they call them now. So Forex for Forex, and Vibrata is where we go, spits out, up to 80 trade ideas a day on Vibrata. And then I use the Harmonics. I don't think there's anything new on here at the moment. So you can use any of these brokers down here. It doesn't matter which broker you're with, and you can have as many demo accounts as you like. And then once you go live with a broker, again, you can have several brokers, or you can have more than one trading account, and they'll offer you different leverages. So ask around, find out what suits you. Trader's Way is the one that I use most on the hourly time frame analysis, and I've been through these shark patterns. We wait for the second entry or take profit one before we enter, and that's moved off it 40 pips. But as I say, there's a lot of red flag news this afternoon over here on Forex Factory. Just coming up, Canadian dollar, euro. So all these majors, there's 7 major Forex pairs, and it's affecting 3 of them. So I suggest we don't take trades, but we can put together a watch list from this afternoon. I've got a few things lined up to go through with you. So that having been said, let's go over to the charts. And this is Great British Pound, New Zealand dollar. So just avoiding looking at some of the ones that are affected by the news this afternoon. And I'm on the 1 minute chart because that's where I get my entries, having looked at the 1 hour time frame analysis and the scans of the hourly time frame. So you can see it's made its long move up, and it's now dropping back down. I've been following this with one of my trading buddies, and I didn't let me just look at what I did today. I did a small buy on this morning, so I've actually done my 25 pips for the day, and I got in round about what was it, 203,783, somewhere around here earlier today, and I got out at 203,930, just as it was coming up to the quarter theory, which is a strong line of support and resistance. Quarters theory, I just click those on and off. So I suggest whatever lines of support and resistance you're using, don't put them on 0s and 5 zeros, because that's where the big boys, the big bankers, the big Forex traders put all their stop losses. This is equally 50 pip increments, and it will be appearing about 200 pips either side of current price, and they will go on stop hunts, and they will try and wick you out at these points, because they know that's where people generally are rounding up or getting in or out of trades, or settling up at the end of the hour or the end of the day. These people are putting on 250 pip stop losses on massive, great big lot sizes. So a big tip is don't ever put your stop losses actually on these quarter theory points. And you can go down to 25 pips. These are 50 pips. Mike Miles does 25 pips. But the strategy I use, we tend to just stick to the 50 pips. So that was one trade today. There's no trade for us to look at on this at the moment. I've marked the alert down at this next pitchfork, which again is the trend line, and I'll wait for that to go off, and if it does, then we'll come back to that. But I don't sit and look at trades in between alerts going off. So I'll just save that one and come out of that one. I'll come out of the Academy products because I don't want the system slowing down. The other trade I took, so that was 15 pips on that one, and then 10 pips only on, I usually go for 10 pip stop loss to 20 pip take profit, but I got in here. So why did I get into this trade? You need to find out what your confirmations are. For if you're on BYOB, then you've got a confirmation checklist. Always, every trade, I follow the same rules and the same confirmations. So I did see some chat recently talking about mindset in our group and how we could help you with that. And some people saying, well, I'm just clicking and I'm going on buying and selling and I don't quite know why. And I was thinking, well, once you found the educator, once you found the strategy, once you've realized that you lose money if you don't follow the rules. I mean, I once said to Michael Angel Martin, who's one of the top educators in our team, and I said to him, you know, when did it change for you? And he said, well, when I started following the rules. So follow the rules, they're there for a reason. So my rules are, is the orange line, which is a 1 minute rolling line of support and resistance. And please feel free to ask me about any of these. I know I repeat myself every day. If it's bearing down or up, if it's crossing over the 15-minute one, that's one confirmation for an entry. Have I got a break and a retest off quarter theory, minimum of 10 pips? Sometimes it doesn't always do a retest. That would be a second confirmation. I can also put a Fibonacci on. In this case, I would put it from here to here. It's always swing high to swing low. That's swing high down to there. Put the 0 down there. You must put it on at the end of the wicks and it must be precise. And then you can see from there, price came back and rejected off the 61.8, which is a golden ratio number. This market is based on fractals, and these ratios appear in everything in the universe. They're magic numbers that work. And then from there, you can see it made its move down. And this is where I got out of the trade. I sometimes use the Fibonacci to, I like it because it acts like a visual dashboard for me. It doesn't always work, and sometimes I get a bit muddled up myself. And when I do get muddled up, I take them off because I realize I'm confusing myself. But that's take profit 1. Where that pitchfork is potential take profit 2 at the -27. And below that quarter theory is the potential for take profit 3. But why did I get out of the trade at only 10 pips when I like to get to 20 pips? Because otherwise, if I'm just doing 10 pip stop loss to a 10 pip profit, then I'm only doing a 1-to-1. That means I've got to work twice as hard in the next trade to try and compound my account. You know, I'm just kind of spinning the wheels a bit. The reason I got out is because of that double rejection there. I'm not brilliant at it, but as you go along and do more of this and more trades, then you learn to feel the charts a bit. And my gut feeling said, get out of the trade, partly because of the way the markets have been. I've had my fingers burnt a few times recently. So I thought, you know, sometimes I'm going to take my 10 pips and run. That was exactly the perfect time to get out of the trade. I got out at 90732. 90732. So just as it was turning, I got out, and I'd got in at 9. Sorry, I got out at beg your pardon. I got out at 732. I got in at 831, which is that green line there. So why did I get into the trade? I got into the trade because I saw it had rejected off that 61.8. The orange had crossed the blue, and I had this pitchfork break and retest here. So that's what made me pull the trigger on that point there. And that, yeah, hi.
Ian.
Hi, Ian, how are you?
Yeah, not bad. Right, this fib you're doing, okay?
Yeah.
Now, you've got it, where you came out, you've actually got it as number 1 or the 1.
Yeah.
How, you couldn't, you know, before you got there, you know, this chart wouldn't have been drawn the way it is. I'm just a bit confused how you drew that fib.
Oh, I see what you mean. Because the fib, I see what you're saying. Because when I put the fib on, in fact, this was this one we did together, or was it the other one we did together this morning?
We've been on this one, yeah, but I can't remember what we talked about.
No, I think what I did on this one, because you and I had been discussing it, was I got in because of that rejection on quarter theory,
Yeah.
and because the orange was coming down, and I think I put the hull on, so I put the fib on as it was coming down to help me get out. So yeah, you're absolutely right, because normally it's always past to present, high to low, or low to high, and then you're looking for what it's going to do next. So in fact, you would have now at this point put another fib on for a buy, wouldn't you, to see where it comes down to. So yeah, you're absolutely right. Sorry, because we did quite a lot this morning. I couldn't remember where I was with this one, but I know I did have the fib on it at one point. So I must have done this as back testing afterwards.
Yeah. See, I would have, if I was been watching it then, I would have got out at the same time as you because of those rejections. But it wouldn't have been because it was bouncing off the one, because I wouldn't know where that one was.
No, in fact, I'm sure I didn't have the fib on at that point, but it was because it was stalling, and my gut feeling was take my money and run. Because several times, as you know, over the last 2 or 3 weeks, I've gone right back up to stop profit because it's just gone straight back up on me. But I seem to have a better touch on it, a better feeling for it this week. Yeah, and that turned out to be exactly the right point. Yeah, so I must have put the fib on afterwards, because I was trying to see why I couldn't get my 20 pips on this one, which is down there just before the green dotted pitchfork. So if we take that off, following up Ian's point, let's take those off and put a fib on the other way. So we do it from past to, so we would now at this point say, okay, is there a buy opportunity here? So from past to present, start at the bottom, where we want to see where it's coming down to reject off. But that doesn't really work either, does it, on this one? Because it's rejecting there off the, it goes right back down to the 100 and slips through there. So it doesn't work for us so well on that one, does it?
Because there's no sort of retesting in a certain area, is there?
Correct.
So many retests in that line.
It slipped through the whole thing, hasn't it, at the 100%? So it's not held. It's not held itself. I wonder if that's because it's gone up so sharply. And I don't know if that was no, there was no Canadian news this morning, was there? No, nothing, only Euro news this morning. But that was my 10 pips this morning, Ian. So I did my daily target of 25, or my trade goal is 20. So that's how I work my percentages out. So at the moment, I haven't got any trade on this one until it comes back down to this next level here, because that orange line is still underneath the blue. It's all rejected off that pitchfork, and it's heading down there. So until it comes down to that level, for me, there's no trade opportunity unless you had a very big scan and you put a fib on. Yeah. Right, so that was that one. Oops. Let's see what else we've got which isn't affected by news. I had Euro NZD here, Euro New Zealand dollar. So this one I've set the alert. It's just passing. It's a very strong downward momentum. It's just broken through quarter theory, and it's heading down to that pitchfork, which is where I've got the next alert. So I'm either, this is on the 1 minute chart, I'm either going to be looking for it to reject off or to do that, but then it's going to be in this wedge, and I won't know if it wants to do that, or it'll have to make its mind up in that area here. It'll have to make a decision what it wants to do. I'll just take that off there. So once it's made a decision in this area, if it carries on down, then these are the next levels to look at for the take profit. So if we just come out so I can orientate us, show you what the scan is. So it's a sell scan, and that was a D point on the 16th of April. So it came down and hit the median. After that point, I'll take it for a buy or a sell. Came up, tested the extensions, which is like Bollinger Bands on your be your own bank strategy. And that will, either it'll break through that or it'll ping price back in as it has done here. And then it's respected the levels pretty well. But when we're taking pitchfork trades, which as I say are only trend lines at an angle, that's all they are, and they have Fibonacci built into them, so they are more aggressive than drawing the trend lines that we draw on 1 minute chart or 5 minute or 15 minute, wherever we're drawing them. And we're taking reversal points off the pitchforks. So I'm never bothered about, apart from it getting down to the medium, I'm never bothered about what the overall longer term trend is doing, because if I come back, say, to the 15 minute and look at the channels on the 15 minute, then I would be looking at, for example, there's a break and a retest there. Once it's got under quarter theory, you've got, there's 50 pips down to there. You've got the same thing here, where you've got a break and a retest, and it's, although quite a longer break and retest, and then under the 62, broken a retest, quarter theory, comes on down, in fact 100 pips there, because it's 50 pip increments. So you can follow this all the way down, and if you do it on smaller time frames, then that's the way that you get a smaller stop loss, because you're right there on a much more precise entry. And that's the way we look at it on this strategy. So nothing at the moment till the alert goes off on there. Which it might do in a minute. How many pips away is it? 10 pips away. So we'll leave that one. We'll come back to it when the alert goes off and see what's doing there. Oh, I know what I was going to do. I was going to just leave on. I was going to leave on those marks just to see what it does, show you what it does when it comes to those lines. So what else have I got up here? I've got Euro GBP here, which is on this scan of, I took off the other scans because it's moved back into this one from the 14th of April. And at the moment it's, well, here's an example of it, of the extensions not holding it. And let's come down to the 1 minute. So how do we read a chart, whether we're taking a trade? So I've got it outside the extensions, the 62, the orange line, which is the current trend, the current momentum, is pushing price down. It's acting like a press on it. So it's forcing price down, and it's still forcing price down. And there's quite a gap between that and the 15 minute. So at the moment it's come outside this scan. I don't know if I've got another scan that it's potentially coming into at the moment. Maybe not. Let's have a look at that one. No. So I may not have anything on this until it decides it's going to come back up. Otherwise I might have already switched it on. No, so I've got it outside everything at the moment. There, I haven't got a scan. So when that happens, what I do is draw a second pitchfork, which is a little bit more advanced. So you have to have it going, I don't know if you know how well it'll work. You have to have it going in the opposite direction to the current scan. So I'll just come to the left-hand menu, pick up another pitchfork, just the ordinary one at the top. You put the point out in the middle of nowhere, and then you're drawing it X to A, and then make sure it's on as much as you can. And I'll come down to the 1 minute. And just move it along. Just need to check the points on it. Sorry, it's a bit slow on Zoom. I might have to come up to a higher time frame. Trading View will only go back 2 weeks on the date and time if you are using it for your charts. So you can see it's slightly off the points. So I just need to make sure it's on the points. There, and the X. There we are. Then I'll just lock that on. Wait a minute, no, I'll need to move it, so I need to. So now I want to line it up. See, it doesn't work if I line it up with the D point. Or is the D point going to be better? If I line it up with the C point there, it's not so much of an angle. So let me see if I line up that bottom line with the D, see if that captures price. So let me just see where price is now. It might be too far down. So that's not going to help me. So I'll leave that on in case it drops that far, but I haven't got any scan for trading on that at the moment. Hang on. Didn't mean to do that. Sorry, guys. I'm going to lock that on, but I'm going to hide it at the moment. So I haven't got anything on Euro GBP. Euro NZD, we're waiting for the alert to go off. NZD CAD. This one, you can see I put a second pitchfork on, and I had to do a best fit because neither the C nor D was lining up. And this one is there's quite small volume in the candles, that's all. But this is a buy. Why is it a buy? Because we've had it move up over quarter theory, although it didn't do a break and a retest exactly. It missed it by 1 point. Oh, well, actually, I call that I would call a touch. It's only 1.8 pips. Up above quarter theory, it's done a break and a retest of the pitchfork. 7.4. Normally, I'd like it to be about 10. And the orange 1 minute trend, excuse me, has crossed up above the blue. So here's the pitchfork here. So I don't know if it's going to come and actually retest again. Ideally, I'd like it to, because I like my stop loss of 10 pips to be from the pitchfork, and ideally I like it to cover the quarter theory as well. So I've got two barriers. So just set that at 20 because that's where I normally set my ratios. So if it does hold this pitchfork and the 62 doesn't break down through, then that is a buy opportunity. Okay, that is a trade idea because we've got it. We've had the break and the retest of the pitchfork here. It's rejected off it once, twice, a wick through there. We could, yeah, it's just moving up now. So that would be an entry of NCAD, an entry of 85127 with a stop loss. I don't really like the stop loss not being the other side of quarter three of 85027. But if you are not on demo and on a live account, I don't really like pushing up my stop loss to that. But that would be 0.84987, just to give it a couple of pips either side of quarter theory. And then a take profit of 0.85327 up there. Okay. And what else was I going to look at? I was going to look at where the half-hour candle had closed, so we could see. Let me just zoom in. We can see what that's looking like. So it is a bit of a wick, smaller volume on it. Is it running out of steam? That's got 23 minutes left to run. That one, it would have been nice if the body had closed entirely above the pitchfork on the half hour. On the 15 minutes, we had that green candle is a doji, an indecision candle. So it went up, buy. Indecision, couldn't push through for the sell. Quite a long wick. That's the candle open, and then we won't know where on the buy candle on the 50-minute it closes, obviously, for another 8 minutes. And on the 5-minute, nice little buy candle above the pitchfork. So that's good. It opened with a flat bottom above the pitchfork. So you've got a few pips there, I reckon. And that's back to the 1 minute, so you can see what it's doing in current time. Okay, so by the time we finish this session, some of my trades are quite fast because I'm like to get in and out of trades quickly. I'm not a swing trader, and so I won't be able to put this on the watch list after the session. I'm not getting into it myself. I need to set my other computer up and have my Pepperstone separately. Then I will do, because I probably would have got into this. I just struggle a bit sometimes, I'm sorry, to concentrate on teaching and sharing what I've learned, and actually taking live trades. I suppose I could take it on demo, and I get a bit nervous unless I'm watching my own live trades on my own, like hands-on sort of thing. I find it quite hard to step away from them and just set the alerts, because whenever I'm in a trade, I follow the same system every time. I put a little line there at about 1 pip, 1.5 pips from my entry, so that I know where my stop profit figure is. And then 227, 227, that would be my alert from my entry. And I put an alert on, always do this at 10 pips. This is what I do. This is what I've been taught. So I put stop profit in there. So when it hits the 10 pips, then I will move my stop loss to stop profit for a risk-free trade. And then I move it up incrementally in this market, 5 and then 10 pips. And then I make a decision, 15, 20. Ideally, of course, I'd like to stay in for my 25. But like you saw on the trade with OrdCAD, once it got to 10 pips, that was how I did it, Ian. Because I had my line at 10 pips. That's what I was watching. It was my line. And once it got to 10 pips, I closed out, because I just didn't feel happy keeping in for it, trying to get it to the 20. That's what I did with that one. So that's NZD CAD. So I'll leave that alert on so we can come back and look at it if it does ping off at the 10 pips. Let's close that one. And this was GCAD, which Ian and I have been looking at. Quarters theory, sorry, that's just when price crosses through quarters theory, it makes it. So we had a fib on it from the 100% up at the time to that high there. It hasn't done any kind of pullback, so that's no use to us at the moment. So I might take that off. But we've had it in a buy mode, but of course it's turning now, so it's struggling with coming up again. Price will move between levels. It's struggling with trying to get up another 50 pips to the next quarter theory. So it looks like it's turning back down between the 1 minute trend line and the 15-minute trend line, and that's the green pitchfork on these outer extensions here. So no trade for me really on that one, because unless it's a very big scan, I wouldn't normally take trades between quarter theory, though that is 140 pips. So my minimum scans are 20 pips between each leg, because then I know I've got my 2% to 4% risk to reward, 10 pips to 20 within those trend lines, those pitchforks. So at the moment, there's no trade for me on GCAD. I'd like to see it come back down to this level, or it may reject off there and go up, and it is a big scan. So technically, I will sometimes take a quarter theory trade. Maybe put that back on. Let's put that back on. So if we did a fib from past to present, low to high, which means it's from that point there, low to high. What we haven't got is any rejection. What we're looking for is a rejection of one of these points, 61.8, 88, or I'll show you if I draw it. So we're looking, it's now at the 0, so we're looking for it to come down and either reject off there or reject off that 78.6 or the 88 there. And then that's the best boomerang that you can get, and then head on up. So that's what we're looking for now on this trade, and that level between, unless you've got, well, this is a big scan, unless there's about 30 pips between the 78.6, sorry, it's hidden behind that white writing, and the 88, then normally we take them kind of, they overlap. I sort of think of them as both together, and there's only 10 pips between them. So we're looking for a rejection, ideally around about there, or off that level on quarter theory. So I'm going to mark that up, see what that does. Might come back to that later, there or there. Okay. Who knows what it will do? Sometimes price doesn't do what you think it's going to do. Next one, Euro CAD. This was a new scan. This was a shark. So I've marked posted this in my private group where I just look at technicalities, really a little bit of BYOB, but mostly on Harmonic Scan and pitchforks. Moneyforks, as I call them, and that's the Ninja Traders, Forex Dreamworks, a bit of a mouthful, sorry. So if you want any technicalities, then that's where I'll start to do more units, and I put all this kind of stuff in there. So at the moment, I'm patiently waiting for it to come up to this level, because with a shark, I'll only get in on it if it's already at take profit 1 or it's at entry level 2. So I don't want to go anywhere near this one at the moment. So that's Euro CAD. If anyone's got anything they want me to look at or want to discuss anything, feel free. We've got another 15 minutes, or any questions on anything. I was just trying to avoid the red flag news pairs. That's at the moment Euro, USD, and CAD until Sharon's session at 2 o'clock UK time, when the market or 2:30 her time, till the market settled down a bit. So what else have we got? GBP, JPY. I didn't have anything on this earlier. That was I've put that alert between the quarter theory and the pitchfork. It is working its way up, but it's just consolidating along the 62 at the moment. It crossed over down here at the beginning of London, so it's made its move. It's done about 75 pips in London session after quite a long consolidation all the way along there. Didn't really do much from close of New York all the way through Tokyo. Was there a bank holiday? I can't remember if we had a bank holiday earlier this week on Japan. Anyway, it doesn't matter. So I'm waiting for it to come up here. That's what I'll be looking to see if it does. If it does this, or if it decides it doesn't want to do any of that and then falls back down again. Right, CAD's gone off. Let's have a look at that. That's the thing about trading. It's patience. You just want to wait for your alerts, not try and force anything. You don't need a lot of trades to compound your accounts and get what you need out of the markets. So let's have a look at that. So that must be the news that's happened on Canadian dollar. So it's just dropped since 2:30. It's just dropped 20 pips, and it looks like it's still going down. So I don't like to trade too much, although that USD CAD one yesterday worked out beautifully if anyone did take that. So this is a strong move down, and it's smashing through that pitchfork. But you know, equally it can obviously come around and bite you and come straight back. So you know, it is dodgy trading the news an hour either side of it. So be careful of that. But that's why that alert has gone off at the moment. But I don't think I want to trade it, because I don't know, you know, when that's going to stop, when it will have finished its move. Let's see what the figures said. Not that the figures always matter. It's just the bankers, as we know, use the strategy to do what they want, to shovel the market down, because really they want to push it up. Let's look on the hourly, see what it's looking like. So it made from the D point of that scan, I had to put a second pitchfork on, as you can see. On this one, I had to do a best fit. It didn't meet. I couldn't get it to line up. You can do that. I couldn't get it to line up with either the D or the C. So I picked where I could find the most touch points perfectly there. So I had 1 there, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So I chose that line there, and you can see it made a long move up, and then it's just been within a 50 pip range thereabouts since then. So for the last 2 days, and if it is coming back down, you can see those lines of support and resistance on that quarter theory. That leads me to think, news aside, that it will want to come back down to this next level at 0.90500. Okay, and how many pips is that? That's about 10 pips. So after broker spread and commission, if you overlaid your BYOB 5-minute ninja template on this, you might find you've got 5 pips there. But as I say, please beware. We've just been through news we had news 20 minutes ago. So it makes the market unstable. So that's why the alert went off there. That was OrdCAD. And we've looked at JPY. Don't want to look back at that one. EuroCAD. EuroCAD's still heading up from that point. So it's just playing between the 1 minute trend and the 15-minute at the moment. Sorry, Euro NZD. So it's just playing around at the moment. I've got the alert set there, but I might put another alert up there, I think. So that's all on that one. Right, what else can I look at? G-Chef, USD, JPY, GA. You look at my list. Have a look at GA. That's OrdCAD again. Leave that one alone. So on the 1 minute chart, now no rhyme or reason to that, is there? Why has that gone up like that? Amazing. That's just shot up because of that news. So that's just gone up nearly 100 pips. I know it's quite a wild pair anyway. 90 pips that's just done. Incredible. Wow, crazy. So we won't go near that because it's shot up so fast because of the news. You can see it's immediately coming back down. I mean, Oren Wright does teach putting a fib on where it will come back to the 50%, but I've not always been very successful with that. So if you put that fib on up to there, then what he says is price will want to come back to that 50%, which is just below that pitchfork and quarter theory. So as I say, I've tried that myself in the past, and sometimes it's worked and sometimes it hasn't. So I don't bother to do that strategy anymore myself, but that is a tip from him. So nothing on GCAD that I want to be getting involved with. Let's start at the top again in the last few minutes. GBP, USD, Ord USD, they're all USD ones down there. Great British Pound, this is quite a slow moving pair sometimes. GBP, CHF, not sure I've got a scan on this. Yes, it is in a scan at the moment, and actually it's looking like that is a buy. I missed that alert down there. So I'll take that off. Right, so what have we got here? We've got a crossover of the 1 minute trend. We've got a break and a retest of both the pitchfork and quarter theory. So we've got our 3 confirmations for a buy on this one. I'll put a 1 minute trend on. Let's have a look at that. And let's see if it holds that. So that's a buy. And put a long position on here. 20. 10. So you've got your price covered by between you and stop loss by quarter theory and a pitchfork. You've got your 1 minute trend has crossed above the 15 and is still going up, and you've had the breaks and retests off both the pitchfork and quarter theory. That broke by 17 and that broke by 10, 9.9, 10. And let's just zoom in, have a look at those candles. And
what was that news about?
There's the news was 3 lots, CAD news on gross domestic product. I don't know what is. I presume that's manufacturing, maybe. Mm-hmm. Euro, ECB, European Bank press conference. So I know they've held interest rates. I saw some flashes up on FX Street, but I didn't manage to read them, sort of stability type things. So they've not charted any change there. And then the one that should and has affected USD most would be unemployment claims, because previous 442 and now it's saying 3500. So that seems to imply good news, but we know that's probably a lie from all the news that we see. No, sorry, that's forecasts. They haven't come in with the actual figure yet.
Oh, right, okay. Well, it's affected the Aussie dollar.
Well, that's what I mean. You see, I'm totally perplexed. Yeah. Totally perplexed by that. Yeah, I agree. Very strange.
Okay.
I couldn't get that at all. So anyway, this is a buy. If anyone's interested in this trade idea, it's just. Although normally I would wait. Sorry, that's an alert color. Let me just put that on in green. And just expand this out. So move that over there. And normally I don't get into trades the last 10 minutes of the hour, because I like to see the hourly candle close. And I'm pretty sure this is normally, let me see what my currency speed is, if I've got it for this one. GBP chef. Not sure I've got that one. Oh, it's medium. I've got it as a medium speed. So normally what I like to see is a where price will go like that, which it has been doing, and it's holding that 1 minute trend. So as long as it stays above that 62, that orange line, that's what I like it to see it do. I don't want to see it drop down, but it shouldn't do, because it has done all those break and retests, and even if it does, it's holding the 1 minute trend and you are within your stop loss. And it seems to be clearing it at the moment, although I've just seen a green candle there. So let me just finish off by having a little look further down, just to make sure I've got that trend line on nicely. So I've got it on that point and those points there. Although that 62 seems to be leveling off at the moment. Let me just take off that extend right line, because it was on an alert. I think I prefer it there, where it's making those touches there. So I just want to see that, because it's leveled off there and it's struggling a little bit. So I don't know if it's going to go into a period of consolidation. So wait, we're just at the last couple of minutes. So we'll just finish off looking at the hourly candle close. Then I don't want to hold people up to get onto Sharon's. Got Les on at 7 UK time. Very good session on the order book and the banker's strategy. And Sarah Jane with the basic BYOB, which is excellent if you're new or on the 7-day free trial. So here on the hourly, you can see it's coming up to the extension. So it is operating within this wedge on the hourly. That was a doji candle, actually. That last one before we came on. So it may be petering out. It may be petering out. It may not get up as far as where we wanted to go. Come back to the 1 minute. Although that looks quite good. It is still going above, but just keep an eye on that. I'm going to stop sharing now. It's 2 o'clock UK time. And thank you for joining, but just keep an eye on that hourly close. And then there's a trade ID. I'll be having a look at that myself in a minute. And unless anyone's got any other questions on this, I shall say thanks for joining. And I won't see you tomorrow. I don't trade on a Friday, or not live trading anyway. And I'll be back on Monday.
All right, thank you.
You're very welcome. Nice to see you.
Thank you very much. Yeah, thank you.
Stop
Bye-bye.
recording.